Excuse me, we are back with Nathan Grant from Money Tips, answering your money-related questions. We're going to talk about getting pre-approved for a home loan. Should you do that? How should you go about doing that? What kinds of things do you have to say for us?
Yeah, so when you're in that initial process of getting ready to buy a home, getting pre-approved, it's like a nice way to prepare for your house hunting. You can kind of look at it as like a physical for your finances. It's analyzing your credit and debt to income ratio that we talked about, and lots of other things. It's a good idea to get a pre-approval letter from multiple lenders to help you find out what the lowest interest rate possible you can get. But it's important to know that depending on the lender, a pre-approval letter is usually only good for 60 to 90 days. So you want to kind of get all your ducks in a row first, find out all the stuff that you want to know about what kind of home you're looking for and what your buying power is, then get those pre-approval letters, and they can really help you find the best deal.
All right, and then one last thing on homes before we move on to some other things like credit cards and stuff. Homeowners insurance. We have to really factor that in.
Yeah, so a lot of times people are wondering, like, what's covered, because one of the big differences once you start owning a home rather than renting is you're responsible for everything. So you want to know what kinds of things are covered. And a typical homeowner's insurance policy is going to cover the cost to repair your home and replace belongings and personal property if there's like an incident, natural disaster, weather, fire, or if somebody's like hurt on your property, you can be legally protected from some of the responsibility from that stuff. But if you are wondering, like, what about my heating and cooling systems, my major appliances and stuff, if you don't have a good emergency savings built up to cover those costs, you might want to look into what's called a home warranty, and that's a separate insurance policy that covers the cost to repair or replace those types of things. So a lot of times people think that might be included with homeowners insurance, and it's a separate policy you'd have to pay for, but might be worth it overall in the long run.
All right, let's kind of transition to credit cards and things of that nature. This person is asking, I have a credit card with a zero balance, great, but I'm charged $49 a year for upkeep. I just want to close the account, but will that affect my score?
So if you remove that account, or by closing it, it's removing it from your credit reports effectively. And so that means all the good that comes with it too, especially if it's paid off. If it's paid off, then your credit limit for that card is still on there, but if you remove it, now your credit utilization that I mentioned earlier is going to go up, because whatever debt you have left the percentage of it overall is going to go up. And so that could negatively affect your credit scores. Plus, having a variety of cards. If it's a card you've had for years and you're like, well, I don't really use it much, I just want to close it. Not having that with all that history in your credit reports reflecting positively on you is going to turn things around, and you're going to look at your credit scores and go, why are they going down? So, I'd say an annual fee like that's a little more affordable. So as long as you use the card enough to offset that with like rewards and stuff, then it might be worth keeping it, as long as you're paying your balances in full every month, so you can really maximize that return.
Yeah, hopefully the rewards will outbalance that $49 for sure. All right, this next question is about a credit score. It says, my question is, if my credit score is above 700, how long is it before I can buy a home after coming out of foreclosure? And that might be something where you'd have to look at all their financials to be able to really see that.
Yeah, because when it comes to your credit score specifically, no matter what you're coming out of, whether it's foreclosure, all those same kinds of things I mentioned earlier to help build your credit, those are the same kinds of things that can help repair your credit. So wherever you're coming from, you have bad credit, you have no credit. Once you start using credit cards responsibly, once you start paying off debts you had, loans, etc., it's all going to help you. So when it comes to like getting back into the game of buying a home, you're basically following the same principles that anyone would who's looking to improve their credit. And being a responsible card holder is a good starting point for a lot of people who don't have good credit to begin with.
So you mentioned this earlier about the credit score, about paying your bills on time. So that, of course, includes your credit card bills. But what other bills does that include?
Yeah, so any late payment, whether it's medical bills that have been sent to collections, or if it's been your student loans, these different lenders, when they start seeing delinquencies, obviously they all have different, some of them might have like a grace period where they don't report it right away, but that's going to vary depending on where the borrowed money is coming from. So your best bet is to always make sure you're getting those in on time, because even a single late payment, whether it's a credit card or a loan payment, a single late payment can remain on your credit reports for at least 7 years. So that's a long time to have something negative just showing up every time your scores are getting calculated off of your credit reports. So
right.
starting there is a great way to avoid a lot of headaches.
I mean, that's store credit cards, that's your electric bill, that's your cable bill, whatever bills you're paying, pay on time. So that helps
Even
your
if
credit
you can
score.
only pay the minimum amount due, which we always recommend you pay more than the minimum amount due on, especially credit cards. But if you make that minimum every month, you're not going to get dinged with a late payment.
Gotcha. Okay. We've got one more quick break and we'll be right back.